Hello, I'm Philip Stoten, and welcome to That Scoop Show here at Apex 2019. I'm joined by Jason from Saline, Jason from Aegis, and because I couldn't find another Jason, Jeff from ASM. Guys, thanks for joining me. The idea of this format is really just to get an idea of really what's vexing people at the moment, and it's great that we've got contract manufacturer here. It's even nicer, coincidentally, that both of you are vendors to him. So I really wanted to start with Jason and find out what you're doing here at the show, what you're looking for, and kind of what's troubling you. What do you expect to be the big issues for you this year?
So we're really starting to explore what kind of information we can feed into our printers to have them make the changes quicker. And we've been working with ASM on some options there. They have a great new system that we were looking at to try to figure out how can we really challenge the Industry 4.0 envelope and see who's really pushing and trying to do things that others aren't quite up to yet. So
yeah, and Jeff, from your point of view, that's what you want to hear, isn't it? You want real applications where you can take data, intelligence, and turn it into value.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about taking the guesswork out of your process. You know, you can spend several $100,000 or north of $1 million on a line, and until recently, it takes a person with a feel for printing to make it all work. Take the guesswork out of it, everything gets better real fast.
Yeah. And Jason, the stuff. Jason Spera, I'm going to say, or Mr. Spera. Yeah, Jason's good. The stuff you're doing in this area. I mean, you have the factory logic system in here. I guess that feedback loop you're a participant in that. So it's important to see where value comes from all the data you're collecting.
Well, what Jeff articulated and Jason is, you can't improve what you're not measuring. And factory logics in our platform is, I would say, a great majority of it is dedicated to that concept, but if you can't get access to the data from the machines, all of that is for nothing, which is, a lot of what we're seeing at the show here with CFX is that industry-wide need to elegantly get data out of the machines once and for all, not in a custom way, not with middleware. So it dovetails with these guys are talking about the solution they want and the benefit. But the prerequisite to it is that data feed may not be as exciting to talk about data feeds, but we need that to get to the solutions that they're talking about.
Yeah, and I think that layer of connectivity is really interesting, and much as I want to stop talking about connectivity, because I feel it would be nice if it was a given. If we got to the position where connectivity was like electricity, we just assume it's there, then that would be a better place for you. But at the moment, CFX is another stage in perhaps moving towards that.
well, in getting that information easily, Saline has been working really hard down this path for many, many years, and so we have solutions in place that get the data from one point to another, but it's something that we had to build with this partner or that partner. There's no standard that allows us to get there quicker and easier. And then also sharing that with different partners. When we first started down our Industry 4.0 journey, we didn't necessarily see what everybody needed to be, which machines needed to be talked to which machines. We had a path, but that path grew the more and more information that was available. So having a standard is really going to help us get there.
Yeah, and I think, we talk about connectivity of the machines. Connectivity of the companies is really important. And Jeff, I think one of the things I've seen with ASM over the last couple of years is they've kind of gone from this model of, and forgive me if I'm out of line saying this, they've kind of gone from this model of wanting to do everything to being much more collaborative.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, nobody can afford to do everything themselves. And if you're going to have the time to market that's necessary and required to be competitive, if you're going to have the right level of expertise in all these different subject matter areas, you've got to collaborate with others. You've got to work with other people. And it's certainly true at the line level, but as you start looking at managing the process around the line, it gets even more profound.
Yeah. And Jason, your job is to kind of connect with a huge number of people, huge number of partners. Are you finding that the industry is playing nice at the moment? Do people want to take part? They want to collaborate?
For once, because we finally have the IPC standard that we can all look to and say, okay, this is what we should do, and it will simply work. We have 80 endpoints in the show floor and upstairs in the demo lines, 400 participants in the committee, but the 80 machines are all talking, and there was a 2-day setup. and the dashboards are running all over the show, and it really is remarkable because that honestly has never been possible before, and it's very promising because of that groundwork we needed to lay, and now we have it.
And I think what's also interesting, for me it's a great example of what an organization like IPC should be able to achieve. The way the committees have worked, the way the IPC structure has been there, that's been a huge boon. That's impressed you, I think.
I can't say enough about how superb the IPC has been with this because, as you can imagine, at the beginning of this, there's the belief that, well, it's not possible, the different vendors who are competitive aren't going to ever do it, and all those challenges, and they helped us navigate through that, and it was, they really were excellent.
Yeah, and just switching gear a bit, you've had a small amount of time to walk the show floor. Is there anything kind of new that's jumped out at you that's kind of interested you, intrigued you going forward?
As companies like ASM continue to push the AI envelope, right? We've had big data. There's so much information that companies like Saline, we're gathering. How do we use that more effectively? And I'm really impressed on how people are starting to take that leap into how can I have the machines utilize that information instead of relying on that talented individual that you were talking about, because there's just not enough of them to go around. So.
Yeah, and then, you've got to have a talented individual with the same talent on all three shifts. Jeff, I guess we're at a pretty early stage of that AI journey, but there's a lot of potential there, and there's a lot of investment and work to do.
No question. As we look at the future of this, we've got the line level connectivity, we've got the line to factory level connectivity. And then we've got the connectivity of all of the other subsystems around the line that need to be looked at as well. So this is leading to really a fundamental change in the architecture of a set of factory software solutions. And we just as an example, we made an acquisition mid-year last year of a company called Critical Manufacturing for an MES solution to help us fill some of those gaps. We've also made a big investment in a joint venture with 5 other German companies with the title of Atomos. And so Atomos becomes sort of this general operating system within which people can write apps that allow that connectivity and data collection and apply the analytics to what's going on anywhere in the factory, whether it's a woodworking machine or an SMT line or a plastic injection machine or anything else. So just the SMT portion is not going to be enough very quickly.
Yeah, and Jason, from your point of view, early in the AI journey, but plenty of AI developers now at Aegis working hard to apply that to the next line of products, I guess.
Yeah, the first push was big data, big data. Everyone was enamored with big data. It was the buzzword. And then all of a sudden, I think there was a point where everyone woke up and said, well, what do we do now? And now it's AI, because humans can't digest all this, in many cases, unstructured data and so forth. So yeah, it is a big area of research as to what to do with it, and then how to apply AI to make it useful. Yeah. But I agree with Jeff that in fact, actually CFX was architected to go beyond the surface mount line. It supports all discrete manufacturing conceptually. So because that is where everything's going, is the surface mount is so highly evolved now that the challenges are with PLC-driven systems and torque drivers and things like that. So I agree. There's an enormous amount of data well beyond surface mount.
Yeah, and it's interesting as you collect that data, eventually you stop talking about the collection of data and the storage of data, and you talk about how you add value. When you look at that from your point of view, does that mean you've got to have very different recruits, very different engineers? Is that something that's challenging you in terms of finding the people that can analyze all this data?
So yes. We're constantly working with younger generation people, developing that next star, working with software companies that make their GUI so easy to use that it can work across cross-generational platforms. There's a lot of different people that are accessing different parts of our shop, and being able to find partners that help us down that journey is really important.
Yeah, and Jason, you've released Factory Optics, which is kind of a more intuitive kind of headset way of using your software. Are you finding there's more and more demand and very different demand in the way people actually want to use the interface?
Oh, absolutely, and I personally believe that it's because of the consumer electronics world. We are now used to walking into our house and yelling at a little black puck, and it talks back to us. And yet the expectations are accelerating about what tech should do. So now they expect a visor to go on and be able to talk to that and do your work instructions to assemble a wiring cabinet. You know, it's really great because it's pushing things forward at an amazing rate now. So yes, the expectations of shop floor operators is, why can't I put an AR goggle on and do this? And then we're trying to keep up with the expectations and be ahead of it, actually.
Yeah. Jeff, do you think the whole smart factory and the smart city kind of progression is quite similar? The challenges of connectivity,
No question.
the use of AI, Alexa, all those things.
Absolutely. I mean, just look at the automotive industry, for example. The evolution of autonomous driving and the impact that that's going to have on society. Well, there's a perfect storm brewing right now in terms of not only the implementation of level 2, level 3, level 4 autonomous vehicles, but also the infrastructure necessary to support autonomous vehicles with a 5G infrastructure, so that the latency between vehicle-to-vehicle communication and central system to vehicle communication. That's just the beginning. Just the beginning. It's going to continue to accelerate. There will be a 6G, there will be a 7G, eventually.
Just like, I guess there will be an Industry 5.0 at some stage, but
Yes.
but we've still got a lot of work to do in consuming Industry 4.0 first. Guys, absolutely pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for chatting, and enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you.
Thank you.